Hey guys, welcome to another video on the Inside Spurs Show. Happy Thursday afternoon. Happy game day. Spurs tonight, 8 p.m. kickoff away in Germany to Eintracht Frankfurt. We're going to be talking about the game. We're going to be talking about, what this game truly means, a little hype up, as you might say. But also in this video, we're talking Tyler Dibling. We're talking Destiny Udogie. We're talking about quite a few things. So I hope you're all right. I hope you're okay. And I hope you look forward to the game today. And if you're not looking forward to the game day, you can't get yourself up for it. Maybe by the end of this video, you will be. And maybe you won't be. And maybe I'm just talking absolute crap. We'll see. All right. But look, the game tonight is huge. The game tonight is, I did a video. I've spoken about this game a couple of times. This second leg I've talked about a couple of times. And, in talking about this game, it's, does the season finish today? That's really, in essence, what this game is tonight. Does the season finish today or does it extend? If it extends, you go probably into what, early next month, I guess would be the semi-final. Or by 10 p.m. this evening, so let's call it, 9.5 hours time, sorry. Are we all sitting here looking at the season as a whole going, it's over, it's done? There's still points to play for in the Premier League, but you're not going to get top four or things like that. We need to be going into this game going, this is the be all and this is the end all. This is, hey, Lazio, Bodo, Glimt. Let's see what we've got next round. Or is it a goodbye potentially? There is obviously that potential as well. Listening to the noise out of the club in the last sort of 24 hours, actually quite positive, not in terms of the Twitter world, but more so actually from within the club. Mickey Van Sen, we're still playing for Ange. We love Ange. Well, we didn't say he loves Ange, but he still wants to play for Ange and things like that, which is, a very endearing thing to say, especially in front of the media. Like, no one can twist that. No one journalist in there, which they would try. Some of them probably would try to twist that into a new headline. He has said, I want to play for Ange, and then people went, yeah, he also said he doesn't understand why he's not playing every game. And it's like, well, he didn't say that, did he? And everyone knows why he's not playing every single game, because his body can't really hang on to it. But looking at the game tonight, we do have some big injury news. Heung-Min Son is not in the team tonight. He's not in the squad tonight. He's not even in Germany, which obviously you get a lot of people then really angry, up in arms. Oh, he should be there. He should be with the team and things like that. I don't really look at it. I don't really look at it as deep as that, if I'm honest. What is he? He's not going to do anything from the sideline, is he? Okay, maybe in the days leading up to it potentially, but if that's what we're holding our hat onto, then we might as well not bother. But Son missing out. Look, it is as much as Son has struggled recently, and it could be down to his injury. Obviously, Ange saying his foot has a real problem at the moment. Let's be real, okay? All the attackers playing 10 out of 10, he's still easily the best attacker that we have. And this is a big game. He's the captain. You do miss that experience tonight. And that's glass half empty. Glass half full is obviously, this is a wonderful opportunity for Matisse Tell, for Wilson Odobert, for Brennan Johnson, for Kulusevski even, to step up, take the reins of playing wing for Spurs tonight and do something with it. We've seen, Matisse Tell, a couple of goals in the last couple of games in the Premier League. Okay, the second goal was nothing to, it sort of hit him. And the first goal is a penalty, but a goal's a goal. And I tell you what, tonight, I don't care how we score, as long as we score. I don't care if it's hits 8 different players, bounces off both posts, off the bar, bounces onto Mickey van der Ven's ankle and goes in. For me, that's as good as a screamer. It's as good as a screamer for me. And I think that's the thing we need to look at. It's an opportunity for those boys to step up tonight, and they're going to need to step up tonight, and I guess glass half full. Youth, when you're young, no better. You don't really know pressure. You don't really you don't really know pain and things like that. When you're a bit older, the occasion might get in your head a little bit, unless obviously you had success when you were younger. You think about, you know, you think about even like Real Madrid when they're going for La Decima, you know, they had players in that squad who had won things. And that's why for them, even though it was a big deal and it was really built up over years and years and years and years and years, they had the players ready to stand up against it. They'd won when they were younger. We don't really have that in this group in terms of winners, like natural winners. You can say Bentancur and Kulusevski maybe from time in Italy. You can talk about Romero with his international football. I get that. I don't know what. I assume Porro won more than just one Portuguese Cup. I assume he's probably done that. Sporting Lisbon are normally a half decent team. But it's also players that, hey, let's be real. There's a lot of those players who haven't really had much of a chance of playing in Europe. Maybe it's their first opportunity. And they're getting a feel for it. They're getting excited by it. Then make the most of it. You don't know. You never know in football when things can return, You can't take things for granted. And I want these players tonight to not take it for granted. Every minute of this game tonight counts double. The first leg, all right, you've got a backup leg to fall back on. We go in 1-1. The game is still, ours for the taking if we want it to be. So same for Frankfurt. I'm not denying that. But at least you had that safety net of the second leg. You can fall back into that second leg. There is no second leg now. This is the cup final. This is the Europa League final. Think of it like that. If you think that's too much pressure in terms of as one of the players, then you're in the wrong club. You are in the wrong club, in my opinion. So I want those players to understand how much we crave success tonight. I don't think they truly would get the full gist of how much we crave it, but my God, do we? This game is, look, we're 7 hours and 18 minutes away from kickoff, right? Quick maths, I know. Thank you. 7 hours and 17 minutes, actually, it's now, but we as Spurs fans are starved. Okay. We've had some good cup runs and we've got to semis and finals and things like that. We are starved of that success. And I think some players understand, all right, these fans are starved of success. Let's try and give them that. And I guess, yes, this season hasn't gone the way we all hoped it for. I'm not denying it. I'm not ange in. I'm not ange out. I'm just supporting the club. All right. But tonight, they need to understand that, yeah, okay, you're in hostile territory. You're in Germany. You're in Frankfurt. They're going to be up for it. It's going to be a good atmosphere. It's going to be loud. It's going to be intense. Just try and zone out. Play your football. Do the things that you know you can do. Do what you did in the first leg, and I think we will go through. Do what you did at the weekend. We'll see you back in London, and some of you won't be here next season. Some of you might even earn yourself a new deal for some of the stuff that you're going to do in the Europa League. Look, you in the Europa League, there's going to be bonuses to make. There's money. There's monetary value in it, for players. They'll be given bonuses. It'll be in their contracts, a lot of them as well. But this game is huge, and I cannot wait for this game. Now, Son being out, look, as much as you may rate Son, may not rate Son, he's playing through an injury. It's probably not going to make him 100%. I get that. But it's an opportunity now. So when we think about the team tonight, I still think Vic's in goal. I think Destiny and Porro are your fullbacks. I think you're back to being Mickey and Kuti. Get the main back five again. Get the main back five again. The ones that we've had tons of success with. There's evidence of success with these five. Let's not reinvent the wheel. Play them. Keep the five. They know each other's games. Midfield three in front of them. They've had some success. Obviously, I'm not going to put down Wolves game as a definitive, like, oh, that midfield, they didn't really play. That midfield of Bentancur, Bergval, Madders. Play the three, okay? They played well in the first leg. We go again with that. And I think Madders is going to be really important tonight. I'm going to come back to him in a minute. Look, your striker's going to be Solanke, your right winger and your left winger. Here's a question. So we know Son's not playing, so we're guaranteed at least one change to the team in terms of from the first leg. I think Kulu can give you 60 minutes, like solid. He might even give you a few more. I don't know if Kulu can give you 90, but I think he can give you 60. And if that's the case, I will see you out on that right wing to start, my friend. We need every single minute you can give. And maybe catches a bit of a second wind at half time. He goes, I'll be able to give you an extra 10 minutes. Brilliant. We get 70 minutes of Kulu tonight. Game changer. So many times I see our wingers out in space and we don't seem to get the ball. Poro and Kulu, there's a connection there as well. They play good one-touch football between them. But also, Kulu likes to cut inside. Here comes Poro. Give him the ball, let him whip it across, and then give Solanke a chance to attack something. That's the other thing. Try and give Solanke an opportunity to attack stuff because he's going to have to work hard tonight. He's going to press. He's going to get lumps kicked out of him. He's going to have to play ball into feet and have the ball has to stick with him. If he's going to do all that hard work, you've got to give him something for his efforts. And I hope we do tonight. Now, left wing is a question. Left wing is a question because you have options there. Now, obviously, we've seen Udogie at left wing. There's something to work with there. We've seen Tell at left wing. We've seen there's something there. He obviously knows the Bundesliga. Johnson has played left wing as well. That's another option. I don't think you'll see Mikey more if I'm in all seriousness. So where are they going to go? Part of me thinks, I want to see Udogie. I want him to get on the ball. I want him to dribble with the ball. I want him to do all those things, blah, 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 blah. Part of me also goes, Matisse Tell scored 2 in his last 2 Premier League games. Don't care how they went in, they're in. That's confidence. I think you start Matisse Tell tonight. His ability, actually, when you're playing the ball into his feet, is probably a little bit better than some of our other wingers as well. And I think that's going to be crucial. So I think Matisse Tell is who I start with left wing. So let me repeat. Vic, Destiny, Poro, Mickey and Kuti, Bentacle, Bergval, Matters, Tell, Kulu, Solanke. Give me that. Give me that. And I think we got a chance tonight. Absolutely got a chance tonight. Imagine they win the UCL. Does it mean Premier League is more harder to win the UCL? Premier League is much harder to win. You have to be good to win the Premier League. You can win cup competitions not being as good. Not saying you're not good to win the Champions League, but you know what I mean. Don't know about that. Coy's through thick and thin, Levy out. I'm sniffing a goal from Bergval today. Mark my words, I am Abdullah who is saying that. Abdullah reckons Bergval scoring tonight. And look, mate, if he does, I would love it. I think it's a coming out game as well. You know, on a big European stage, I think Bergval was magnificent in the first leg. Are we going to get take 2? Take 2. Action. Lucas Bergval cooking. We could. Absolutely we could. Now, heart over head, head over heart, however you want to go. I'm going to just try and put my money, not literally, but put my thoughts and feelings as a monetary thing in Spurs going through tonight. Is it 90 minutes? Is it extra time? Is it penalties? I don't know. I think Spurs go through, and that could be more heart over head. That could be even silly. That could be stupid. That could be embarrassing. But I don't want to go into this game thinking we're not going to get the result that we want because it's just not for me the way I want to think. I want to feel positive. There's games in the season where I go, I don't see us getting a result here. But when it comes to cups, you've got to go in there thinking we can win this. Let's go in there and do it. It'll be a telling day for Spurs. Awful, Jazz. Awful. How are you, mate? You all right? So look, Baz is here as well. Careful, Baz is here. Now look, let's see about that. But the beautiful thing is there's options off the bench. Richie scored against Wolves. Played an extra, 5, 10, 15 minutes than he did last Thursday. He should be able to give you half an hour tonight. Let's hold on to that idea that he can give us half an hour. If Solanke's not got it going on and he's struggling and he looks a little bit weary, get Richie on there. Good in the air as well. Let's not deny it. Good in the air. He's a problem at set pieces. Could be an interesting situation. Look, if Tell's not got it going on, got Wilson Odegaard that you can bring on. Let's say if one of the midfielders, we're lacking a little bit of energy in the midfield. Bring Pape. Get Pape on. Let Pape just run to corners of the pitches to press things. We have those options now that we shouldn't be afraid to do it. And I hope, I think against Wolves, Ange did make some early substitutions. What didn't help Ange was the fact that our players continuously shot themselves in the foot for fun. But he did make changes 10 minutes into the second half. He's not afraid now because he's looking at the squad as a whole going, I've got bodies on the bench that I'm not looking at thinking, who's that fella and who's that fella and who's that fella? He's looking at it going, Pape's a shout, Odebear's a shout, Richie's there, got Jed as well, got some really good, interesting options off the bench here. We can use these. And I really, really hope that, if the game's not going the way we want it to, that we're not afraid to pull that trigger. We should pull that trigger. Steve reckons we're going to go for Vic, Porro, Romero, Van der Ven, and Destiny at the back. Midfield 3 of Bedscore, Bergvall, and Madison. Your front 3, Tell, Kulu, and Solanke. So we're in agreement. But he does say, but I would prefer Kulu in the middle as a replacement for Madison or Bergvall. Yeah, I mean, there could be a thing where he comes on at half-time, maybe. There's that potential. The way I look at it is, I think they'll cause us issues with their press. And I'd like a guy that is pretty good at, beating the press in Kulu. He's going to give it away a few times. Got to be prepared for that. That's what he does. But he's good at beating the press. He defensively works hard. And also, he likes to cut in. He's happy to cut in and be central. And old Pedro's bombing out on the outside of him. Going, hello, mate. I'll have a bit of that. He's not saying hello, mate. He's saying hola, amigo. I'll have that. Okay, so we have done with all this drama. We understand what changes we take. Mate, what do you think we are missing at World Class? Well, mate, we miss a lot to be a world-class team. We miss a lot. But one thing I'd say is let's not try and think about the summer just yet. Let's think about tonight. Let's think about tonight only. XL reckons, I definitely see Frankfurt scoring 2 goals and Kulu scoring at the 80th minute, giving us a hope, but it won't be enough. That's my prediction. I hope you're wrong, mate. I really hope you're wrong. Now, coming out of the game tonight, Robin Koch, the Frankfurt defender, he actually said about Spurs, which is the irony. He said something nicer about Spurs than most Spurs fans said. He says, we shouldn't expect that Tottenham all of a sudden won't know how to play football because they're away. All right, Robin, we'll see about that one. No, honestly, I mean, he is right. We should go out there and do what we do. Get on the ball, and we should play our stuff like we always do. And when we're, it's what we have the ability to do, but we haven't seen it enough, So there is that. When Mickey was talking earlier, talking about how, what are you going to do with Ekatike? How are you going to get past him? What are you going to do? It's him saying, which is interesting. He went, well, it'll be down to me and the players playing around me. It's like he already knows he's starting, which I love that confidence. He's not been the reason we've lost games, by the way. He's been out injured, so his confidence isn't shaken. Him going, it's down to us to stop him, eliminate him from the game. He scored a great goal, but we can eliminate him if we play to our strengths. I'm like, oh, Mickey. Oh, Mickey, you're so fine. You're so fine. You blow my mind. Hey, Mickey, unbelievable comments. And I know that the positivity is what we need. We need more of it. But we go from there. So look, I still think and hope Spurs go through. I would love it. I'd love to get on here after the game, summer fruit squash in hand, telling you, I tell you what, whoever Lazio or Bodo going, I will see you in a little while, big man. I will see you in a little while, and we will come and see you, and we will do some business. And that's what I'm thinking tonight. But we need a good start tonight. I'm not saying we need to be 1-0 up after 20 minutes. We need to withstand, try and quieten the crowd a little bit, play some good stuff, be in the game. If it's 0-0 at half-time, we're in that game. The longer it goes 0-0, I think the worse it is for Frankfurt. I think the better it is for us. But we shall see. Summer fruit squash and 2 thumbs up. Absolutely. Boris reckons, I feel Tell and Odebear start tonight just due to the fact that Son is not with us and we get Tell and Solanke and Odebear goals. Oh, interesting. Stuart reckons, I would play Riccio tonight. Solanke hasn't overly impressed since his move. He does work hard, but lacks quality maybe. Stuart, I'm going to be honest. Richarlison won't be fit enough to play 45 minutes, mate. He'd probably get injured if he tried. That's why I say Solanke. Richie's obviously scored. But can you put your hat on and hang your hat on Richie playing more than 45 minutes? I can't. Hence why he's off the bench for me. And the thing is, he should be able to give you half an hour. So if Solanke's not at it, things aren't going well, you want to mix it up, 60th minute, 55th minute even. That's when, for me, Richie will come on. You know, he's got a goal at the weekend. We should be thinking, hey, he might be coming into this game with a bit of form. But we shall see. We shall see. Richie, 296 minutes, 296 Premier League minutes played this season, 3 goals, 1 assist. Yeah, he's a nuisance. Well, he's pretty much won a game in that regard. I see Joseph Richie come off the bench tonight. Yeah, I think so. So it's not hamstring, it's foot. Romero, then Kulu, now Son. What are medical staff doing? Well, there you go. Anyway, right, let's talk a little bit of transfer news now. Caveat to all of this transfer news, as you know, as we always do on this channel, this is a good chat on the face of things, but we don't really know who the manager is next season. So if we're talking about signing these players, it's not for the next manager, it's a club signing, and that is a problem. But if Ange's here, or we know who the next manager is, let's sort of compare the situation, okay? Alex, I agree, Bergvall must start. Must start. What we'll do is I'm going to talk to you about this Destiny Udogie situation as well. I want to see in the comments here, and if you're watching this and I'm not live, please get in the comments down below. Win, lose, draw. Or you could even tell me going through, not going through. Easy enough. You tell me. I'm happy to see what you've got going on. So let's talk about Destiny Udogie, the man who I think is going to be starting a left back tonight, because Florian Plettenberg has said that he understands Tottenham definitely want to keep Destiny Udogie for the upcoming season. He's considered a key player in their squad planning, and which is why there is currently no price tag, despite interest from several top clubs. The club are more like instead, the club are more likely to consider signing a backup for the 22-year-old left back. His contract runs in summer of 2030. I've always said Destiny's going nowhere, for one. 2, why the hell are we signing a backup? Sign someone that's going to compete with him for the left back role. And if a player doesn't want to come in going, oh, I don't know if I'm going to get enough minutes because Destiny's there, then don't sign him. I'm not interested in him. I want players to compete for the role. The more players that compete, the better the quality of player that you're going to have who's already at the club. So look, no, not at all. But on the face of things, I don't think he'll be sold anyway. I think he'll be here next season. He's struggled a little bit this season. Obviously, the big quad surgery, no preseason, no tour, no ability to get up to speed. We threw him into the deep end. We probably overused him because Ange didn't know what he had in Spence. That's a question for another day, but irrelevant. For me, I think next season he will bounce back massively. I saw against Frankfurt, I was like, that is the Destiny Udogie that I have proclaimed to be one of the best left backs in the Premier League. The one I've seen this season hasn't been the same level, and I think there is some factors in that. But that Frankfurt first leg, I was like, oh, okay, yeah. So he is still a unbelievable fullback. And he's going to have to be something similar tonight, by the way. I do think he's going to have a big old game. I mean, Bahoya scored at the weekend. He's kind of come into form this week, tonight. Ekitike, in form. Destiny and Mickey are going to need to be on it down that left-hand side massively, you know. So we'll sort of see from that one. So just quick little update. Janet says win. Boris, yeah, I would say it's our mid. No, I think Madders will be in the midfield. Kulu on the right. Steve 5-0, obviously. Mikey Moore should be getting more chances. He will probably next season onwards. Chris says win. That's the whole point of Lang. Yeah, no, what I mean is you're signing players for the club, not the manager. That's the issue that I have, Michael. Stuart reckons a 3-1 loss. 3-2 or 2-1, Jazz reckons. No, we won't be going for an Ancelotti. He's probably going to wait for the Brazil job. The gap we open up when both our fullbacks are inverted. What do you think? Did Ange do anything about it tonight? Well, looking at it recently, they've been overlapping a lot more. They haven't really been in the midfield as much. They've been actually out wider. That's why we had tons of success in the first leg. Destiny was brilliant overlapping. The marauding runs that he can give you, he was giving you. Baz, I reckons 2-1. There's some good positivity in here. Let's not lose it. Let's not lose that positivity. But yeah, no, Destiny, For me, he'll be going nowhere. I think we can all agree it's a good thing that he goes nowhere. He's a very good player. He's got a contract for another 5 years as well, so we're in absolutely no rush. But what we do need to remember going forward with some of these deals is just because he's got a few years left of his contract doesn't mean he's going to be here to the end of his career. If we want quality players to stay here, we need to show them we're going in the right places. Ownership needs to show that. Johan Lang needs to show that. The manager himself and the players as well. Now, look, there's one way you can show it to players. Oh, we won the Europa League. Oh, we're in the Champions League next season. That's one way to do it. So let's say, out wide about now. Ange's never changed any tactic ever. Never. It's like 9 up front, 1 in defence, 1 in goal. That's it. Of course, he changes. Even if you're Ange out, Ange adjusts in game. It's quite poor if someone says he doesn't. It just shows they're not actually truly watching the game. I have to get a 5 a.m. to watch, so we'll lose 3-2. The sky is falling with loads of exclamation marks. Where are you from, bud? The only quality player, what's on a couple of years left, is Romero, if I remember correctly. We tie down a lot of players to long-term deals. What I'm saying is for people like Romero, who have been here multiple years already, if you want the quality players to stay, yes, they want to be, compensated wages-wise. They also want to have success. Regardless of the Premier League season as a whole, there's still an opportunity to have success. And what's the one thing a lot of these players want? But what's the 3 things that players want mostly, right? In terms of club football? Money, Champions League football, cup wins or league wins. Well, Europa League and Champions League go hand in hand. You can tick off 2 on one list. It's how you go about doing it. Why not 3-0? Interesting. I like it. Australia, of course. Wow, yeah, where in Australia, bud? Come on. The one thing what annoys me is people saying, why was Vicario shouting at Bergvall after the Wolves match? He wasn't. He was just telling him to keep his head up as Bergvall was dropping. Yeah, he was actually being a leader. People had an issue with Vicario doing this to Bergvall. That's to keep his chin up. He's actually being a supportive leader. If you had an issue with that, it shows you've never actually played like any level of real good sport. It's kind of what happens, Nathan, how are you, bud? Gloucester, New South Wales. Nice, mate. Nice. There's a lot of you in here, mate. There's a lot of you guys having to get up at stupid o'clock in the morning, which, by the way, I don't have a drink in hand. I definitely don't. But imagine there was a drink in there. I toast everyone who's having to get up at whatever time in the morning or even late at night. Maybe it's like you're having to stay up till midnight to watch the game and it goes on to 2 a.m. You're having to get up at 4 a.m., 3 a.m., 5 a.m., whatever time you're having to get up at. I really do appreciate it. And I know the club do appreciate it. They may not tell you, but you guys are legends getting up at, when it's middle of the night and it's dark outside and you're getting up to support your club. You're just as good as a fan as us are in the UK watching the game. Trust me. And you probably, for the most part, are better fans and you're on the other side of the world. So fair bloody play to all of you. I mean, Nathan's 4 a.m. You know what I mean? At 4 a.m. it's dark. Maybe in Australia it's not because it's a bit different there. But I mean, 4 a.m. here is pitch black. You know what I mean? Vicario, Decky, and Madders actually love being here. They get so much stick. I tell you what, little Kulisevsky, remember who I am? Kind of performance. I could so do it. I could so see it. Time to get some adult summer fruits. Oh, yeah. Absolutely, Boris. Get yourself some summer fruits, mate. Some adult ones as well. Serious stuff. Tiggerwank says, hi, Andy. Great show as always. What's your view on Ange? Do you want him in or out? Just interested in your view because it's rational. For me, Tiggerwanks, I am just supporting the club right now. I'm neither Ange in or out. I'm just here to support the club. I want to win the Europa League for us as fans, for those players, for to get that sort of trophyless monkey off our back, and also for Ange as well. He's been through it this season. It'd be great if he had something to win. We'll see if he's here next season, but right now we're basically all still Ange in because we're all supporting the club. At the end of the season, we can all review it and see how we feel, mate, if that's all right. Um, could see it, Boris. Win. Love it, RBC. Love it. Now, look, that's that on Destiny Udogie. A little bit of news on Tyler Dibling. So, again, Florian Plettenberg talking about Tyler Dibling, saying that Spurs are considered outsiders for Tyler Dibling. Leipzig are leading the race for the Southampton midfielder, with Bayern Munich also interested. Now, I think Bayern Munich need to focus a little bit more on the left wing side of things. I don't think they're getting enough from their left hand side in the attack. I mean, yesterday, watching the game, you know, too many opportunities down the left hand wing to waste chances. So I think they need more than that. I don't think Dibling's that kind of guy. And also, he'd be coming into a position of Michael Elise and Jamal Musiala. That's quite an interesting role to try and come into. And I know Thomas Muller's leaving. We'll see about Gnabry and Koeman. At least one of them will be leaving, maybe even both. Although I thought Gnabry played well yesterday against Inter. He hasn't played a lot. Obviously, he does have some injury issues. For Leipzig, they're in a weird situation, really, Leipzig, because they're struggling so far this season. They've obviously sacked Marco Rose, but they've got some exciting players, Xavi Simons, Benjamin Sesko, Lois Openda, who I really wanted at Spurs. I was really, really on the ball with the idea of Lois Openda. It could work with him there, but, I think we'll see what happens. I think Klopp's apparently unhappy with his role at Leipzig, and it wouldn't shock me if Real Madrid come knocking for Jurgen Klopp. Trent maybe moving to Madrid as well is an interesting situation. We'll see about that. But I don't think Dibling will go to a Bayern. I think it would be a Leipzig. And I think it's a good move for him as well. It takes Spurs out of it. I think it's a good move for him. I think he would do well. It really depends on the value because, obviously I know there was a report saying he's worth 100 million. Everyone knows he's not going for 100 million. It's just you set the market value up that high that even if you have to drop 30, 40, 50 million, you're still getting a massive chunk of money. And for Southampton in the Championship next season, that's a huge amount of money. Their revenue next season is going to fall through the floor. So yeah, I could definitely see Leipzig depending on the deal and the value. Again, for me, when it comes to transfers, who's the manager next season? Because none of us know. If you go and get a pragmatic manager, does Dibling suit him? Let's say Thomas Frank. Does Dibling suit Thomas Frank? If he doesn't, why are we doing it? Marco Silva. I'm not saying you're going to get these managers. I'm just saying that we've been linked to them and you're putting two and two together, right? Let's say it's Marco Silva. Does Tyler Dibling suit Marco Silva and what he wants to do? Andoni Iraola. Supposedly Iraola wants to stay at Bournemouth next season. That's apparently the reports coming out. I wouldn't read too much into them as gospel at present. Things can change overnight very quickly. If we got, let's say we went and appointed Xavi because we were linked to him as well. Would Xavi be, interested in Tyler Dibling? That's the thing with this sort of player. It's like you need to pick the player that's going to suit them. Is this a guy that's going to? We'll have to see. But again, it's on value. I think he is an exciting talent. He obviously, unfortunately, is the club that's the worst club in the Premier League at the moment, and they've struggled. They've struggled with results. Is he the right move? And people say, well, you can play a bit more centrally. Okay, well, but you got Bergval, you got Archie, you got Pape, who I expect here to be next season. You got Bentancur, who may be here next season. I think Basuma will be gone. You've got Madders, you've got Kulu as well. Is he going to get the time necessary? Well, he'll play right wing. Yeah, but what about Wilson Odobert? What about those sort of players? It's Spurs need a bit of a clear out this summer. They've still got a big squad. Even with all the work we did last summer, there's still a lot of work to do this summer to clear out even just like the dead weight or the players that you're not going to use. It's still going to be a huge summer and there's a lot that needs to be done. So I really don't know. I really, really don't know about that one. Again, I think it'll come down to value. I mean, there's talks about that we've been interested in Kingsley Coman, but it comes down to value. We're not going to go for him, by the way. We're not going for him. That would have been more of like a Conte, Mourinho win now signing. Spurs won't do that. He's in his late 20s, earning crazy money. Spurs don't want probably to sign players who are 25 and above, unless it's like they're 26, 27. They can give you 5 more years of quality. Spurs want 18 to 22-year-olds. That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting. It's bold. And yeah, okay, maybe they're hoping these guys can grow together and through time they'll become winners and things like that. You know, it's bold. All top clubs do go for the youth movement, but they also go with the idea that you're buying some ready-made guys now. Because if you have a quality first team squad, you got some youngsters who are going to work in there. Odegaard, Tell, Bergvall, Gray, Mikey, even whatever. You've got a lot of other really good, solid international footballers who are very good. They will bring them along and help them develop, even sometimes more so than them playing regularly. It's an interesting one for me. We'll sort of see about that one, but we're a long way away from the summer. Obviously, I think summer will be a very interesting time at Spurs. But the summer will really depend on how tonight goes. Because if we go out, that will change plans for the summer. If you go through, things kind of just stay on ice until we know what's going on with the end of the competition. Spurs win it, things change for a different direction because you're going to have Champions League revenue, all that sort of stuff. That's the situation. Again, regardless of Ange's here or not, we don't know who the manager is. So as much as, I like to talk transfers, I go, oh, that guy's a good player. And, oh, I really would like him. If we're signing a manager whose system or style of play doesn't suit that player, then what's the point? We should be signing players to suit the next manager, not signing players to suit the club and then hiring a manager to try and fit them in somehow. We do that too often and it's backfired so many times. That's why, this next, whoever, if Ange goes in the summer, all right, it's all hypothetical, so we don't truly know. Whoever the next manager is needs minimum of 4 windows, they need to financially support him. They need to get rid of players that do not suit his system, and they need to be able to give him the ability to cut players out of the group. Because we haven't done it with any other manager, and this is what competent sides do. They back the manager. You don't want that player? We'll get him gone. You want that player? Right, well, we'll try and work on getting that deal sorted for you. Instead, we go, here's a group. You can remove 1 player. We're going to sign you 6 players. So we'll sort of see. Big D, Matt, how are you? Hope we keep it tight first half hour and then go for it tonight. Look, back on it tonight. Rec, Bud, how are you? Back on it tonight. Huge game. I cannot wait for this evening. We are under 7 hours away now, 6 hours and 45 minutes from kickoff. Do or die tonight. It's do or die. I hope the players understand that. I hope they come out. They're proud. They're proud of that on the front. That's what they want to play for. That's what they want to play for. So I hope those players come out, they play for that badge. And if they go 1-0 down, don't panic. You can still get back in the tie. It's not over if you go 1-0 down. Just don't fall apart if you do. But also, you go 1-0 up. Tie's in your hands, isn't it? I'll be so bloody proud of those players. If they go through tonight, we get through to the semi-final, we see who Lazio or Bodo Glimt, who's through. Obviously, 2-0 at the moment for Bodo Glimt at half-time of the tie. Lazio away, though, that's not a gimme. I'm not worrying about Bilbao Rangers. I'm not worried about Lyon or Man United. That's irrelevant to me. I won't care about those until the final, if we're even there. But I want this club to have a big day out in Bilbao in 6 weeks' time, whatever it is. I want them to have a big day out. We deserve that big day out for all the years of torment. But to get there, you've got to go to Frankfurt tonight. You've got to get a result. And I'm bloody pumped for those boys tonight. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to stick that game on to feel like I'm there on the bloody bench with Ange and all the other coaches and the players shouting at the boys and getting in for it. I cannot wait. So look, thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. I've got a busy afternoon. I've got lots of stuff to do. So I will be a little bit away from all of the drama of Spurs, which I'm looking forward to be honest. But I'll be back later. If you want to join the Discord and chat some Spurs when we do talk in there, here's a little link. Come and join us. We talk every day in there. Jazz is the leader of my Discord. They do all the work, not me. All right. I'm just a figurehead. But thank you for joining me this afternoon. Go enjoy the rest of your afternoons, the mornings, the evenings, wherever you are in the world. Look after yourselves, and I'll speak to you hopefully tonight talking about semi-finals. Look after yourselves, everyone. Peace.